Okay, let's begin.
Yes.
Okay, so could you tell me your full name, please?
My full name is Kang Hong. Would you like me to spell it?
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine. Okay.
And are you working or are you a student?
I'm currently, I'm gonna become a student next year. Yeah, I'm working on the process of becoming, attending university, application process.
And what major did you choose?
I think I'm going to go into pharmacy school, so like the pharmaceutical area. Yeah.
Okay. And why did you choose this major?
I chose this major because I'm interested in the areas of biology and chemistry, and pharmacy school is a way I can study that in depth, and also I want to be able to help other people through this process, so I thought that was a good major to study for that.
Great. And what do you like doing when you have some free time?
One of the things that I really enjoy doing in my free time is reading books. I read all different kinds of books, and I just really enjoy it because I get to live another person's life. I can see through other people's perspective, which I think is really valuable to me as well.
Okay, now we're going to talk about your home.
Yeah.
So what kind of housing do you live in?
I currently live in an apartment. I think it's slightly different from other apartments in that it's only like six floors or something, but I think it's similar to other apartments as well, yeah.
And what is your favorite room in your home?
My favorite room is my bedroom, just because there's a bed in it and I sleep in the bed. And also it's just my place to relax whenever I watch movies or read. I do it on the bed, so it has nice memories attached to it as well.
And do you think you will live there for a long time?
Really, it's not up to me. I'm guessing it's going to be my parents and the contract of the housing, but if it were up to me, I think, yeah, I would like to live there because I don't like moving. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the difference between where you are living now and where you have lived in the past?
Yeah, so I have lived in different countries as I was growing up. One country that I've lived in is India, and India is very different from Korea as well. So just in the setting and the people, the culture, so that's very different as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about meeting places.
Yeah.
So where is your favorite place to meet your friends?
One of my favorite places to meet my friends, though I haven't met many, is a place called Hewayeok. I think I really enjoy that place because there's a lot of people, a lot of restaurants that we can hang out in, but also there are a lot of theaters there, and I really enjoy watching musicals and plays as well. So by hanging out there, we have access to different kinds of theater, plays, restaurants, whatever that we can do, making it a great spot to hang out in. Yeah.
And do you think some places are more suitable for meeting than others?
Definitely, because I meet my friends because I want to do something with them. Like I want to pursue an activity with them. But if I go to places where there aren't a lot of choices that I can, or things that I can do with my friends, then it becomes less fun, I guess, to hang out with my friends. And so it's better to meet in certain places where there are different kinds of things we can do and different activities that we can access.
And are there any differences between your favorite meeting places now and when you were a child?
Yeah, I guess the main difference would be what I was doing in those meeting places. These days I would, again, watch movies or eat and hang out just generally with my friends. But I would imagine that when I was younger, I would go to playgrounds perhaps with my friends to hang out. And that in itself, the activity is different, and therefore the meeting place would also have to change as well. From playground to, I guess, a popular street or a popular meeting place, yeah.
Perfect. All right, that will do for part one. We'll go on to part two now.
Yep.
Okay, so here is your question. I'll just give you a pencil there as well. So I'll give you 1 minute to take some notes, okay?
Okay.
You can begin. Okay, and that's 1 minute.
Yep.
Okay, so your question.
Yes.
Could you describe an important thing that you learned not in school or college?
Yes. Throughout my life, an important saying that I've learned and stuck close to is to always be grateful with what I have and go based upon it. And I learned this when I was living abroad. And so I've lived in various countries, and so I've always had to move around in different places. And because of that, I've always had a little bit of a disconnect with my friends because I had to move around. Whenever I got close, I would have to change my country. And so I would always, through that process, I learned to be grateful, to be positive in the current situation. And I learned it by, I guess, trying to just evaluate the situation in a more positive mindset and look at things that I can gain from it instead of the things that I've lost. And it's really important because it gave me a more positive outlook on life. And also it allowed me to stay motivated to study or hang out with my friends or meet new people instead of dwelling on the things I've lost or the past. So yeah, the saying to be always be grateful is what I've learned.
Okay, very nice. And who taught you this skill?
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to say my parents because I've talked to them a lot of times when I was struggling with my current situation. For example, I remember on my first day back in, I think, second grade of my new school, I really struggled because I was constantly reminded of my past school and my past friends, and I wasn't able to really focus on the current situation and the present. And by talking and conversing with my parents, I was able to learn I can kind of get out of this dark spot or the slump, I guess, by being grateful with what I have and focusing on the positive parts of the current situation rather than the negative parts. And yeah, so my parents would be the answer.
Great, really nice. Okay, so now we'll go on to part 3 of the
Yes.
test, okay? Okay, so yeah, the first question, what can children learn from parents?
Like I said, I think children can learn from their parents their attitude in life, how they go about living their daily life, their mindset as well. And I guess that's one of the many things that they can learn from their parents. And it's really important to learn that from their parents because the parents have lived many more years than the child, and so they have gone through that process of finding that right mindset or finding the positive outlook. And they can kind of pass it on to the child rather than the child having to go through trial and error to figure that out on their own, which is really important for the child in their life and going onwards. Yeah.
And what other influences do children have when they're learning in their childhood?
Other than their parents, I think an important influence would be their friends. Not just because, like, for example, a lot of students go to school or academia, and in that process they meet a lot of friends and they hang out and spend a lot of time with them, and therefore it's inevitable that they start to, I guess, adopt a lot of their mindsets, their way of speech or things like that. And therefore it's important to have good friends, I believe, because that can change your course of life, or that can change your attitude, which can really alter your future as well. So your friends can also have a big influence on you.
Yes. And do you think some children are well behaved because they are influenced by their parents?
I guess this is a fundamental question in the discussion of like nature and nurture, I believe. Part of it, I do believe, because I do study science and biology and things like that, part of it does come from genetics and their natural, I guess, body, but also a lot of it does come from their parents and their surroundings. And so that part is the nurture aspect. And so it's important that they have a positive influence from their parents, so that they can grow to be more, I guess, well-behaved or fitting in society. Yeah.
And how should parents handle, excuse me, how should parents handle a situation where their children are misbehaving in public?
Right. So I think that's a question that a lot of parents would struggle with, and I'm not sure I would have the answer because I'm not a parent. But if I put myself in those, in the parents' shoes, I think one important step is to first tell the child that it is not right to do this in a public setting, and I guess give them a friendly reminder first instead of just going straight into scolding or being mad at them, because that can start to have a negative impact on them and they can have a negative outlook on the whole situation. And rather than that, we can give them something positive to focus on and say, this that you did was good, I think you should do this, or kind of guide them in a certain way instead of scolding or even hitting or abusing your child, which is really important on the child's development as well.
All right. And is it necessary for adults to learn new things?
Definitely. It's very important for adults to learn new things. I think as human beings, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly adapting to new situations, learning new things. And just because we're adults or past a certain age doesn't mean that we stop learning or stop gaining new things from life, especially attitudes, like I mentioned, but also skills or manners of behaving in certain situations. Like, for example, I have always been in high school. For 4 years I've been in high school, but now I'm becoming a college student, and that requires new skills, new things I need to learn, new attitudes, and therefore I guess I am an adult technically, but I'm still growing and evolving and learning new things, which is important for any adult as well. Yeah.
And what kind of new things do you think elderly people should learn?
Elderly people. So like, I think one important thing for elderly people to learn, though I don't want to sound condescending in any way, would be to, I guess, accept, or I guess, go with the flow of the modern society. I think a lot of people kind of get stuck in the past and thinking this is how it used to be, and now we have to put that on our children and make sure they live a certain way as well. But I think it's important for them to learn and evaluate the current situation and see the course of history, I guess, and how things are changing, and kind of adopting to that, and not restricting their children in any way of saying you have to stay in this tiny little box, but also allow them to try different things as well. And so that's a new skill, I guess, for them to learn.
Okay, perfect. That will do us. Thank you very much.
Is that it? Okay.
That's it. All right, so now let's start with the feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought it was an excellent test. I think that's definitely enough for 9.0. Your fluency, pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, all excellent, all very high level. One thing I would say in part 2, right, spoke for like just over a minute. Okay, maybe a minute and 10, minute and 15. So in the real exam, I would always say to students, try to keep speaking for the full 2 minutes.
Right.
And you don't really need to have a conclusion in this one. But, you know, it's in the exam, it says between 1 to 2 minutes, but I would usually say just try and keep speaking. But that was great. Yeah, and I just want to point out some like very positive things, like good expressions. I asked you one difficult question about how should parents handle a misbehaving student, and obviously you don't have that experience, but you said, if I put myself in their shoes, in their situation. So that was a really nice expression. You used some nice nice phrasal verbs, nice idioms, nice expressions all the way throughout. So it was really clear, really good test. So thank you for your answers.
Thank you so
much. All right,
much.
thank you.